Hello my dear friends, you're on the Military Summary channel, and today we will discuss situation in Ukraine on the 1st of May. And today we'll start from the Kharkiv area. I found a very interesting map, the most updated map. This map was updated. This map shows information about the current situation in the Kharkiv area, and one of the most important achievements that Ukrainians got today was taking of town Stary in this area, this town. This information is confirmed by the Russian sources, so we can see that Ukrainian state took town, established control over the town Stary Saltiv, this town. Yesterday, Ukrainians they took control over the town Molodova, and today, this morning, Ukrainians they entered the town Stary Saltiv. For example, the West map, they're saying that, for example, this town, Stary Saltiv, is still under Russian control. But we can say that Russians, they retreat from this area. This town is very important, by the way. We can say that this is the only one town in the north of Ukraine, in Kharkiv area, where you can cross this river, Seversky Donetsk, from the right side of this river to the left side. This is very important road. You see this road. And if this information is true, if this information is correct, that Ukrainians managed to take first Molodova, and then Stary Saltiv, that means that they cut this road. And this was the only road which supplied the Russian forces in this area. There are still questions about the Tsirkuni and a lot of different interpretation of the situation in this town from both maps. For example, as we discussed many times, the West map showed that Tsirkuni is under Ukrainian control. The Russian source, they're saying that Tsirkuni is under Russian control. This map shows that this town, from this area, I tried to zoom in this map, but I couldn't understand. But I can say for sure that Tsirkuni, at least in the gray zone. That means that heavy clashes are there, and we can say that these towns are no longer belong to any party, neither Russians nor Ukrainians. But if we're talking about town Tsirkuni, the losing of this town, Stary Saltiv, doesn't have any impact on this town because Tsirkuni is supported and supplied by this road. This road, as you see, leads to the Russian Federation. So this territory is totally independent from this support. But for example, this town, we can say the line like Alexandrovka, Shestakova, Fedorovka, these areas, Peremoga, Petrovka, this big area is totally depend on this area and depend on this supply and this support from because of that fact that Ukrainians, according to the official information that confirmed by the both sides, established control over this town, that means that this territory have no longer any support from the Russian Federation. And that's mean, and more than that, if we take a look at this map, we can see that, for example, now Ukrainians have a very great chance, a very good possibility to attack this area from the east side in this direction and from the southwest direction, and even from this side, from the southeast direction. And that's a lot of place to attack, and that's mean that if this territory are no longer have any support and supply, because for example in this area there is no roads, or they're very small, and I'm not sure that Russians they are using these roads because of very big risks being attacked by the local territory forces or something like this. So we can say that this territory, this Russian territory, is in very big danger, and the Russians in this area can be really surrounded by the Ukrainian forces. So if you ask me, of course, my opinion is to retreat from this area as fast as possible to the north, in direction from this area, in direction of Ternova, in direction of Vesele, and in direction in these small towns, because this area is much more safe, and you're very close to the Russian border, and you will reduce the chances being surrounded by Ukrainians in this area. So we can say that by taking this town, and by the way, this kind of bridge that can't be destroyed by the Russians because it's a dam. it's a very big dam, and I'm not sure that it's even possible to destroy this dam, and if it's reasonable, because by destroying this dam there are a lot of risks for the Russian forces group in the south, because of a lot of water that can go run through this dam in this territory. So I'm not sure that anybody is going to destroy this dam. So let's say that I think that the best solution for the Russians in this area to start to retreat immediately, and it will allow them not to be surrounded by the Ukrainian forces. Now let's move to the south, to our favorite and famous forest. The Russians, by the way, they updated their map in this area. You see that they increased their foothold in this area, and the most important, that they updated, like they took under their control, they're showing that they're controlling more than half of this forest. And I think that we can believe this information if you remember a few videos ago I told you that they brought here a very heavy flamethrower system, TOS-1 Sunburn, and this is the equipment they used to clear this forest from the Ukrainians. And if you remember, Ukrainian forces, they use this right side of the Seversky Donetsk River, and this town Protopopivka, Zavgorodny и Petrikovsk, to establish their fortified area there, and they were trying to build their pontoon bridges for one purpose, to drop their forces in this forest. As we see, and time shows that Ukrainians, they are very successful in the areas where there are a lot of forest and they control this forest. For example, if we take a look at the Kharkiv area, you see that Kharkiv is full of forests, and maybe this is one of the reasons why they were so effective in this area. And now they're trying to drop some forces right into the back of Russian forces in the Izum area. So that's why, and by the way, today the Russian officials, they included in their report the information about the destroying of those bridges. But Ukrainians, they're not losing their motivation, and they're still trying to cross this area and to freeze as much as possible Russian forces on this side of the river. But from the other side, you see that this gray line moved from the east to the west. Before, this gray line was here, so that means that all this territory was the gray zone, where the Russians tried to clear this territory and where Ukrainians tried to do their sabotage operations. And now we see that the Russians, they really managed to move very far to the west, and that was possible, and that was it was a part of operation of taking towns Zavody and Spivakivka. So as soon as Russians took this town, they were able to control this territory much more. They were able to control this territory in much more effective way. So we'll see what's next. Now we are moving to the south of the Izum foothold, and we see that this map is also updated. Russians, they're saying that they're controlling totally Brashkivka and Suligivka, and the biggest problem for them here is town Dovginka. They're trying to take this town from the very beginning of this operation, but because of the fact that this town is very close to this big forest, and there is it is very easy for Ukrainians to throw sabotage groups armed with the West weapon in this town, and they're holding this town for a very long time. So let's see what's next. And as you see, the front line, the gray zone, is not even in this town. So that means that the Russians, according to their sources, they couldn't even get into the suburbs of this village. So they're like not very far, but in few kilometers from this town. And if you see there, they took much more control in the gray zone on the south, moving in direction of railroad which connects Barvinkovo and Kramatorsk and Slavyansk. Now we're moving to the Lyman area. This map also was updated. If you remember, yesterday I told you that Russians, they took control over Alexandrovka, and the Ukrainian, they took also control over a skill. There was update about that, but I think that the Russians, they will update this map in a day or two. They do like this, like few days, to see that this information totally confirmed and that the Russians didn't went out from this city after, for example, Ukrainian counterattack. So I think that tomorrow this territory will be colored in red as well. So the Russians, they took control over town Alexandrovka and over town Stavki, and this map is updated. Map has been updated, and if you remember, in this area there is around 1,000 of Ukrainian soldiers, and we can say that they are surrounded. by the Russian forces. Another important news came today, this morning. It was the information, by the way, from Ukrainian report, from Ukrainian official military report. And according to their words, there is a battles in this morning, very heavy battles and clashes in this town, named Shandrigalove, this area. So, and later this day, around noon, Russian officials, military officials, they told that they established control over the town Novosilovka. But there are two towns with the name, there are a lot of towns in the name with name Alexandrovka, with name Novosilovka, and according to that report, there was information that Russians took control over the suburbs of the town Novosilovka. But to be more precise, they took control over the school in this area. So we see that, and also they told that happened in Slavyansk district. So we see that Slavyansk, and we can say that this is the Slavyansk district. But I zoomed this map and I tried to find school in this area, and I didn't find any school in this area. So from my side, I can't confirm that Russians took control over this town. But later, like an hour later, Russian updated their own this map, and they told that their forces managed to take control over this Novosilovka. And this not the Novosilovka in Lyman area, this is Novosilovka near the Avdiivka region area, and this is also Novosilovka, and this is the school, it's like the suburbs of this Novosilovka, and this is the school Russians took control over. By the way, that's mean that Russians, they control, also they told they established control over the town Troitska and the control over Novosilovka. And to tell the truth, I'm not sure what are they planning to do next, because of that fact that yes, maybe they are able to take control over these suburbs, but what are they going to do next? Because right in front of them, maybe in a kilometer, there is a very powerful trenches, a very powerful fortified area. So even if they're planning to move forward in this area, I think that they will have to spend a lot of weeks to crack this nut. But we'll see what's next. The main idea that they're moving in this direction, and if you take a look at this map, at this area, you see that there are not much trenches here, not much fortified areas. So we can say that this one is the only one place Russians need to crack, and after that it will be much more easy to move to the north and to be right and to attack Ukrainians right in their back in this area on this fortified line. It's a small update about the Avdiivka area, but let's move back to the Lyman. More updates about Lyman. So we can say that, and I think that the news about taking school in Novosilovka, it's not about this Novosilovka, it's about the Novosilovka and Avdiivka, but the more important information that the battles right now in town Shandrigalove. That's mean that this area, we can say that sooner or later, today or maybe tomorrow, will be under the Russians. Let's move to the west map and we will see what kind of benefits these things can bring to the Russians. First of all, let's update that the territory Alexandrovka, because and Novoy Yar, by the way, this area is under Russians, and it's confirmed by many sources. Now Russians are fighting in the town Shandrigalove. It was in the morning. Maybe they won't be able to take this town, but let's mark it and update to see the better understanding of this information. And as I told you yesterday, their main idea to attack this area, to attack this bridge, to establish control over this bridge or something like this. So let's mark like with the arrow their main direction. So their main direction to take control over this bridge. We will come back to the bridges a minute later. And this map, we see that the West map says that Yampil is under Russians, and by the way, Russians confirm this information from their side. They're saying that the Yampil is theirs as well, but there are a few more updates about exactly this territory. And let's take a look. I found very interesting two maps. For example, this map, this is not official map of the Russians or Ukrainians. This map was prepared by the volunteers, and this map was prepared according to the information of the local, telegram, public channels, and so on. And the main idea of this map to provide you information about the current front line and about the most important, about the bridges. These lines, this is the bridges. You see bridges, 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 and as far as you can see, almost every single bridge in this area was destroyed, was blown up. If you see like two red lines, that means that this bridge is destroyed totally. If you see just one, that means that this bridge is damaged. This, by the way, this is the dam. So the dam is damaged, but the dam is not destroyed, and we can understand why. And as you see, there are just 3 bridges left in this area. I'm not talking about this bridge, I'm talking about this Oskol bridge, the area. And by the way, you see this red circle, it's the area where those thousands of Ukrainian soldiers are surrounded. So there are 3 bridges, one in Svetogorsk, one between Zakatnaya and Yampol, another one between Raigorodok and Lyman, we could say. But as you see, there is like a question mark between this bridge. First of all, because there's no information about if this bridge still exists. Maybe it's also blown, but for now there is no information. But the main idea, even if this bridge is not blown up, we can say that Ukrainians they are no longer can use this bridge for retreating and for escaping from this territory. So let's see next. So as you can see, Ukrainians, they have a very bad position in this area. First of all, because of that fact that there is just one way how they can retreat and how can they regroup and to save their manpower. And this is it. So, for example, if Ukrainians decided to use Lyman forces and retreat from this area, they will have to go in direction of this bridge. This is exactly the bridge we were talking about. But for now, I see that on this map, this bridge already is destroyed. This is this bridge. So maybe there is some way how there is a railway bridge, a road bridge, maybe just one of them is destroyed, I don't know, but Russians, they're moving in this direction. And the main idea of Russians, as I told you yesterday, to split this territory into few pieces. This is the one piece, this is another one, and everything that on this side of the river is the third piece. So we can say that it can be like 3 small cauldrons in this area. And these guys, 1000 already got surrounded. These guys, they still have possibility to regroup, and I think that they should do this as fast as possible, as Russians should do this on the north of Kharkiv. I think that these guys, they need to do this right now. They need to cross Seversk Donetsk, or at least get here to be much more closer to their main forces, to their big land. But later, let's move back to the map, to this map of bridges, right? So we see that there is a way for Lyman group, at least they can escape from Lyman using this bridge between Raigorodok and Brusovka. This is the bridge. I'll show you. This is a small bridge. These 2 bridges were already destroyed. We discussed this many times. First they destroyed the railway, then they destroyed the road bridge, and this small bridge is the only one way to escape, to retreat for Ukrainians. But later this day I got another map, also from the public's Russian official. According to this information, Russians, they managed to take control over town Dibrova, and after that they managed to move to the west, and now they're trying to attack Lyman from the south. So they didn't attack Lyman in the front. First they took Yampol, if you remember, and after that they moved to the west. And even yesterday this town like Dibrovna and Ozerny was in the gray zone, so they wasn't under Russian control. But starting this morning, official Russian sources and Russian publics that connects with this area, they're saying that Russians took control over Dibrovna and over Dibrovna. That allows them to move to the west, to cut this road, and now they're attacking Lyman from the south. Let's update this map. I'm not saying that it's true. I'm just trying to say you about the information that we have, at least for today. So let's update this map according to this official information. First of all, don't forget about this triangle. So we can say that the Russians, they have control something like this on this territory. They attacked those triangle, and now they have something like this. And the main idea that according to that map, let's take a look at again. They moved to in this direction of those bridges. they moved in the direction of those bridges, so we can say that they move here. And now they have totally cut this way for Ukrainians to retreat from this area. We can say that Lyman group, if there are somebody there, we can say that Lyman group is at least for now in I think that it's already tactical surrounding. I think that for now these guys who are there, we don't have a lot of information about this, but these situations, these updates tell us that these guys in big trouble and they're totally surrounded, and that there is no way for them to escape. And the time they can use to move in direction of Svetogorsk was waste. About Svetogorsk, of course, these guys in this area will stand a very long time. First of all, because of this forest, it's like a natural shield between the Russians and them. And you see that the Russians, they took Alexandrovka, and I'm not sure when are they planning to go to the south. They will do this, but first they will try to clear this territory and to establish entire control over this territory. And more and more Russian sources, they're talking about the next stage of this operation. We discussed this area many times, and I told you the importance about this area, about Lyman, about these railroads. But the next step of this operation, of course, to establish fire control over Slavyansk, over this MO3 road. But the most important is this territory. This territory is free from forest. There is no forest here. Let's take a look at this map. It will allow us to understand the situation much more better. You see the Yampil, you see this beach and this river, and you need to understand that Russians, they have very good possibility to establish their own pontoon bridges over this river and to cross this river. And the main idea, I'll repeat myself, is Seversk. I will mark a very big arrow, like a global general plan is to attack Seversk. After Lyman, even not Slavyansk, even not Kramatorsk, the main purpose of this attack. Maybe Slavyansk and Kramatorsk, the Russians will take these towns in the very end. Nobody knows. But the most important is Seversk. I'll explain to you. Again, this is the same question, the same issue for the Russians and for the Ukrainians is the railroads. You see that as soon as the Russians establish control over this railroad, they will be able to regroup and throw their heavy forces right into the heart of Donbas cauldron arc in unlimited quantity. Everything they have, they can bring right to the front line. And we know that for now Ukrainians, they don't have such possibility because of big problems with their support and supply from the West countries. And if Russians are able to take Seversk, you see that's also a very big railroad station, the Russians will be able to bring forces like a sharp blade right in the heart of Ukrainian Donbas cauldron. I must say that the battle for Seversk, it will be the key battle for the Donbas arc, for the Donbas boiler, for the Donbas area. So the plan is as follows. As I told you, I'll just repeat myself. First of all, as soon as Russians clear this territory and feel them safe, they will try to build pontoon bridges somewhere in this area to cross this area and to establish the front line here. They will do the same thing as they did in Izium. If you remember, they didn't take Izium in the front attack, they built pontoon bridges here, then they surround Izium, and after that they clear this territory. The same thing they're planning to do right here. Cross Seversky Donetsk and attack Seversk. And if Russians are able to do this, we can say that it will be the end of Donbas operation, because this area will be totally cut off from the entire big land. But we'll see what's next. Maybe Russians won't be able to do this. Who knows? It's just the plans. I'm trying to explain to you what are they planning to do next. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel and enjoy your day. Bye bye.